made them sign a legal contract that said that they would do 9 years of servitude labor and they would gain their freedom. Starting right about here, folks, all these buildings were built by the minorities. Well, as time went on, the 9 years came and the minorities were ready for their freedom. So they went to Mr. Turnbull and he said, Mr. Turnbull, we've done our 9 years, we're ready for our freedom. Well, Mr. Turnbull, he had no intention of letting
Nirviga need a vital
He said, no, you guys haven't worked.
Nirviga need a vital President Abbas.
The minorities have kept some pretty good service. And their spiritual leader, Father Kemp, advised them, you know what? I would take my fight to the governor, let him decide. So, they took their fight to the governor. He looked at that illegal document. He added up all the James Howard minutes and seconds. He said, you know what, you guys have to do
beer అంటే
no longer required.
ఫ్లేవర్ఫుల్ బీర్ అంటే ఇక్కడ కాదు పక్కన.
But you guys can imagine, Mr. Turnbull had his jaws wired tight. He had to open them wide enough to eat
ఇవన్నీ పాత ఇంగ్లీష్ రెస్టారెంట్స్ అన్న
right now. Now, I told you guys, I'm going to show you what a cracker's house looks like right here on the right-hand side. 10-room versus flat. Now, it looks like the Ponderosas of the riverbank because they were the first cowboys of Florida. Now, folks, we're headed to what's called the Gilded Period. The Gilded Period was the late 1890s to the early 1900s. It was a period of economic wealth and growth, but there was also a period there were a lot of inequalities going on. There was also a lot of change that was happening too. And that change was on the streets. You were starting to see both automobiles and horse and buggy at the same time.
16th century.
Now, Henry Flagler fell in love with this place, and he wanted to turn it into a resort. He needed to open up a couple of hotels. Well, he needed to do some things. He needed to move a church and a gym. He moved the church right here, the Grace.
వస్తుందిలే నా దాంట్లో క్యాప్చర్ అవుతుంది.
All at the cost of $84,000 just so he could have a $4,000 plot of land. Now you guys see all that beautiful terracotta work there on the door, arches, the column, and up top at the steeple?
అసలు ఆ డోర్ చూడు.
That is hand carved.
ఏంది?
Now the Baptists heard what was going on, and they wanted some of that apple pie. So they called up old Henry Flagler and said, hey, Henry, how do you build churches, man? We want a church built too. And you know those rich guys, they don't know how to build up churches. I don't need to build anymore. Well, the Baptists kept after him. They finally wore him down. And he said, tell you what, I'll build you guys a church, but I've got a couple of restrictions. Number one, you got to raise $10,000. And number two, you got to build it within 2 years. Well, the Baptists took that challenge on. They met those goals. They actually exceeded those goals. They raised about $14,000.
ఈ బిల్డింగ్ చూడమా.
And they built the church in about a year and 2/3.
చర్చ్ అంట.
And folks, you're looking at the result of it right here on the corner, the ancient City Baptist Church. Now that bell tower there doesn't have a bell in it because Henry Flagler said there was already enough church bells in town. He didn't want any. So the original pastor, G.J. Johnson, and his wife, they stayed at the lower level of that tower, and their living room and kitchen was in the upper level. Now, folks, we're on our way to the Memorial Presbyterian Church. Now, this was kind of special for Henry Flagler, because his daughter, Genevieve, she died March 25th, 1889, during childbirth. And his granddaughter died about 4 hours later.
ఇది కూడా చర్చ్.
So he wanted that church memorialized, and he wanted it built pretty quick. So Henry Flagler hired 1,000 people, 500 to work on during the daytime, and 500 to work on during the night. And folks, right here on the right-hand side, the Memorial Presbyterian Church was built in only 361 days. Now his daughter